Welcome to episode 47 of the A Travel Talk Show, a podcast of the A Travel Marketing Group and ehCanadaTravel.com. The A Travel Talk Show is broadcast live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. PST from our base camp somewhere here in beautiful Maple Leaf, Canada, a hidden Maple Leaf, Canada location. As we travel and we move tonight, our special guest is author and multi-Emmy award-winning host of the Travelscope TV show, our new friend, Joseph Rosendo. I believe, Colin, we are about to get travelized. We're going to get travelized tonight.
Travelized. Sounds good. I'm in.
Yep, that's our Canadianism of the night. Every night we pick out a Canadian word that we make up. Means nothing. Last week was birdologist. This week it's travelized. With getting travelized.
We're gonna have to put up the dictionary as we go.
Yes. So get this, call. Joseph has been a travel, food, and wine journalist as well as a travel broadcaster for over 40 years.
I know. Watch the intro. I've seen his shows. I've seen some of them, and they're impressive. I mean, who doesn't want to be Joseph Rosendo?
Pick me.
Yeah.
Right. So hey,
impressive.
His show, just for you newbies out there and for you newly watching Canucks and for people and our friends from around the world who are travel addicts as much as us, the Travelscope show is now in its 12th season. And get this, it reaches 98% of the U.S. market and 286 million viewers on more than 500 public television stations, including Maple Leaf, Canada.
Wow.
Yep.
That is.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you know what? Joseph ain't happy with just a TV show.
No, he wants.
Nope. What he does in his time is he decides to write this awesome book, which I got a copy of. Thank you to Joseph, called Musings, A Short Pursuit of Pleasure and Other Journeys. And I'd love to talk about this, but then I'd spoil it for Joseph. So I'm just going to show you the cover. And that's all you get from me. Joseph's going to have to tell you the rest because that is not what we do here, is spoil the punchline. Joseph will be joining us in a few minutes. But first, as always, some introductions. My name is Greg Gerard. I am the co-bro founder of the award-winning website, ehCanadaTravel.com, storyteller, adventure seeker on our award-winning blog called Two Brothers, 2 Feet, 2 Curious, 2 Canadian, and your co-bro host of the A Travel Talk Show. This suave and dashing looking Canuck next to me is
Colin Gerard, the other co-bro host of this great A Travel Talk Show. Co-bro host of co-bro co-owner of ehCanadaTravel.com and the head tech, not co there, and keeper of the code.
You are a lot of co-broing right now. You're trying to co-bro me.
I know, and I'm a storyteller too, just not as much. And,
you're a storyteller on code, and that's it.
I think we need to start having a brother competition here. It seems this is turning into.
You know what? We can't fight on live show because we're taking up Joseph's time. So we got to move on. Okay. So together we are what people have given us this awesome nickname, and I sort of love it. We are the Brothers of Tourism. We're homegrown Canadian tourism geeks. We're seekers of adventures, collectors of bumps and bruises, wildlife whisperers, and coffee guzzling, road tripping Maple Leaf bomber Canucks, and we love every minute of it. So that's who we are, and we're going to tell you a little bit about this show. It's live. Stuff happens, okay? So
all the time.
And the nice thing is, because it's live and we're just laid back Canucks, we can deal with it. So just if we can deal with it, our viewers can deal with it. Stuff happens. If you lose us, moi, and our guest Joseph, who's in our virtual room. I believe he's in the Bannock right now. Is from what I'm hearing. I think he's in the Bannock. And if you do lose us, well, that's Canada. Internet ain't cheap here, and it definitely ain't rural. So bear with us. And you know what? However, no worries, none whatsoever. We have the connections, and we have the keeper of code, Colin Gerard here, who will
Yes.
solve any technical issue that comes across this wild and massive set that we have here. So do not at all change the channel. First off, what we're going to talk about, we would like to give a huge shout out to forward-thinking team of experienced Nickel Valley in the beautiful town of Merritt, British Columbia. You know why, Call?
I think there's something about some sort of award they might have won,
Yep.
or a few awards actually.
Yes. Last week, Experienced Nickel Valley Merritt, BC, Canada won. And they're using they're using a program called Experience Community that moi and Junior Moi developed for small and rural Canada communities. And that program won. Get this, hold on, buckle in, put your seatbelts, keep your eyes on the road. The Canada Prestige Award for Canadian Marketing Program of the Year. Woo! That's good. That's pretty hot, I would say.
At your service.
Yes. And for their small market. Now, in that same week, we were just excited to hear the Experience Nickel Valley program won the BC Best Community Project Award for under the population of 20,000 population. That award was, did I say that twice? Say that twice real fast. That award was awarded to them by the BCEDA, British Columbia Economic Development Association. 2 big awards in 1 week. 1 week. So kudos to them. In
They're
the same,
one.
yes. Now, here's what I'm stoked about. This Experiencing Nickel Valley group, this project, they're actually going to go live on Thursday on their show. Okay. And what they're going to do is they brought in a CEO of a business here. They brought in one of the content marketers, and then they also brought Community Futures, which is a community organization. They brought them in, and what they're going to do, Call, is they're going to talk about this program without anyone else. So I'm interested to hear what they have to say from the third party.
Sure. From the benefactors.
Yep. Yep. So Tom Avon, the big dude at Canadian Prestige Awards, in a relatively short space, here's what he said. In a relatively short space of time, tourism in Nickel Valley has clearly created something unique in the market that is making a big difference to people in the community. The program is both informative and educational and really helps put a focus on local businesses and what they do well. There is no question that the program will encourage more to visit the region. We are very pleased to recognize this hard work. So hats off to that group. And we are so stoked that they were our pilot project, 18 months, and we nailed it. We knocked it out of the park. Home run, can't keep the baseball sort of stuff, man. It's huge.
Right? That's a fabulous review.
Yes.
I mean, that's I love it.
Yep. So our guest tonight, we need to bring on the big show, the main man. Our guest tonight is Joseph Rosendo, an author, writer, journalist, as well as director and host of the multi-Emmy Award travel show called Travelscope. Get ready, people, to be travelized by Joseph. This is our Canadianism, and we're going to use it with Joseph all night, so get used to it. It's not in the Webster Dictionary. It's in the Greg and Colin Dictionary, and that's the way we're going to have it. Joseph is, let me tell you a little bit about Joseph Colin. It's a,
please do.
I really had to cut this resume in 4 parts because it's so long. So I had to pick some highlights. So hopefully Joseph, I think he's a humble man. He might not bring up the parts we're missing, but during the interview, we could slide him in. I think we'll just slide him in there. Just slide him in. Maybe he won't even notice.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Joseph Rosendo has been a travel, food, and wine journalism, as I said earlier, and travel broadcaster for 40 years. Since 2007, Joseph has hosted, created, directed, and written the Joseph Rosendo Travelscope award-winning PBS travel television series. Travelscope now in its 12th season reaches, as we said, 286 million viewers, over 500 public television stations nationwide, as well as airing in, you guessed it, Maple Leaf, Canada. Joseph's Travelscope website provides access to all his content, so you got to go there. And the good news is It's on the screen right now below his name, highlighted in bold on our specialized Joseph Rosendo background that we've specifically created just for the mass traveler, the guru of travel, the guru icon travel god, Joseph Rosendo. So recently, Joseph has published a book. All you're going to see is the cover. He has published.
Give us a little better look than that, there, bro.
I gave him a big look earlier,
you could
bro.
Barely.
I gave a huge look earlier. I mean, we can't give him too much look because then they'll, you know, I don't know. I'm doing my best here under a lot of pressure. Recently, Joseph has published a book called There he goes. He's putting it up. Musings, the short, happy pursuit of pleasure and other journeys, which is drawn from his travel and life experiences. And I have been reading.
There we go.
There are my key points. I'm going to show you here, right there. You can see my stickies. Right there.
Yeah, very well. That's very brother-like.
These are Greg approved stories, are the yellow stickies. Right. He is also a motivational speaker, travel expert, and a lecturer at conferences and special events. Joseph has collaborated on such projects there, Junior, as the Discovery Channel, Associated Press, ABC News, and now Joseph Rosendo. He can add the A Travel Talk Show to that list.
I'm sure he's pretty excited about that. I mean, that's the one he's been missing. We're the only one, but
yeah, I might give the Discovery Channel a head, but I think we're second billing after that.
I think, we'll probably be at the top of the list.
No, we got to give Discovery Channel. I mean, they do good work.
Okay, second.
Right. Okay, second.
It's a complete honor to have him on the show, though. I mean, this is huge.
Yes, it is. So let's put our virtual hands together and give Joseph Rosendo a big, as we always do, a big virtual maple leaf applause. So let's bring Joseph on. Here he comes. Joseph Rosendo.
Ooh, welcome.
Yeah.
That's sign language welcome from what I hear from our.
Let me get there. You go, Joseph.
You turned me on.
You're on.
Excellent.
Well, hey, Colin, Greg, nice to see you guys. Oh, and I was hitting the screech, you know.
Hey.
Look,
actually, it's maple syrup from Canada. You can tell because of the maple leaf.
Nice.
My wife
good to see.
The refrigerator. You see, we've done a pretty good job on that guy.
Yeah, it looks like it. Okay, Joseph. So we gave a little bit of an intro to you about your wonderful history, and maybe you could give us a little bit more background on who is Joseph Rosendo, and possibly a little bit of insight onto your Emmy Award-winning, multiple Emmy Award-winning show, Travelscope TV.
Well, you know, I'm a guy who fell in love with travel when I went to Europe for the first time in 1969. That'll date me, and I just fell in love with the whole experience, the cultural experience of travel and the different perspective you get when you traveled. And then I just needed to make it my my life to do it all the time. I fortunately enough ran into this quote from Henry David Thoreau, which says, "If one advances confidently in the direction of their dream and endeavors to live the life they have imagined, they will have a success undreamt of in common hours." And so I spent my time trying to do that. And it's a truism that I've carried around with me, and managed to be a travel writer solely, exclusively for a number of years, and then transitioned into doing a travel radio show, and met my wife 15, 16 years ago, and we started working on the television show, and we've been doing that for 12 seasons, as you mentioned. And I'm just a guy who couldn't keep quiet about travel, and started. And so my editor, when we had a magazine that was in print and now is online at Travelscope.net, she said, "You should do a column where you're just waxing poetic about travel and how important travel is to you and how important it is to the world." And so I started doing a musings column, and that musings column has become the book, Musings, the short, happy pursuit of life, a short, happy pursuit of pleasure, I should say, and other journeys. And then that kind of says it. And that's kind of who we are and what we've done.
Excellent.
Been doing it for a long time. Traveled in 93 countries, 50 for the television show, but 93 countries. I've been blessed to have the opportunity to do that, and I can't think of anything I'd like to do better.
Excellent.
Wow.
Excellent. What a history. What a story. I'm telling you.
Yeah. You said 14 or 15 years you met your wife. Are you unsure about that? You get in trouble there.
She said nearby, so I'm trying to get. We got married in 2007, and we had known each other for several years before that. But we got married in 08. Oh, excuse me, we got married in 08.
Oh.
But see,
you're in trouble now.
2007 sounds like a good thing. That's when we moved to Topanga.
Sorry, Joseph.
Got married the next year, but we've been married for a good amount of time and worked together the entire time, which is so we've really actually been together. That's why I get confused with the dates, because it's like we've been together for 24 hours a day for all of those years, and it's like we've been together 20 and 30 years, but it's been wonderful, and it's been an exciting adventure. This is the life we're trying to live, is adventure.
Yeah. Nice.
And what good recovery though. I guess now you're good. Now you're good. That was a good recovery there.
You still backpedaling a little.
Thanks. Thanks.
So what makes Travelscope different? And I know, and I think we sort of have a pretty good idea of but what maybe you could tell us what makes Travelscope a little bit different than other travel shows.
Well, back in 1969, when I went to Europe for the first time and fell in love with travel, it was quite clear to me what was important about travel, and it was people. It was people and their culture. And we have a wonderful, wonderful world that we live in, surrounded with people with all sorts of different cultures and different kinds of people. And instead of being afraid of them, we need to embrace them and embrace those cultures and learn from them. I'm blessed to be on PBS here in the United States, because the PBS audience is considered to be lifelong learners. They always want to learn more. And people carry the information of this world. And that's what we try to feature on our show, is the culture. We try to interact with people. We try to do it in a spontaneous way, just like you guys. And we try to give them an opportunity to tell their story. And that's how we're different. Yeah, we go to wonderful places. We get to see, the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe and the Great Wall of China. And we take people to fantastic destinations. The great, you showed in your wonderful clip that you did to introduce me, the faces of Easter Island, those great moai.
Yeah.
So we do get to take people to wonderful things to see, but that's checking off a list of sites. The real experiences in travel are the experiences you have with people, and they happen everywhere all the time. We'd love to go to markets in our show, because that's where people are being people, and you get to meet all of them in one big place, and you can interact with them. And we've had wonderful experience with them. So the difference between Travelscope, Joseph Rosendo's Travelscope, and other travel shows is that we concentrate on culture, the diversity of our world, and we spend our time with the people we meet, and we tell their story. It's not just about me and what I do and who I am. It's about the people we meet, and that's what drives our show.
Like we were saying in the pre-room when we were all sitting around in the virtual room there, that the one thing that I think everyone agrees that is truly passionate about the travel and tourism industry is that it's the culture. And like I think we were discussing earlier, if you can't really go on a trip if you're not going to immerse yourself into that culture.
Right. And by the way, Canadians are pretty great people.
Woo!
Let me tell you that we have 20 television shows on Canada, and I can't even begin to count all the radio shows I did on Canada. We've traveled all throughout the country, almost everywhere. And in fact, I will even say that I probably know more about Canada than some Canadians. Yeah. But what we really enjoyed in Canada are the Canadians. They're open-hearted, welcome to us wherever we've been. and diversity of the country, the diversity of the scenery of the country, and the places that you can visit. It's never ending. When you think that Ontario alone is bigger than almost as big as Europe, then you can get a good sense of what you're dealing with when you go up to Canada, and all the different people, the French, the English, and everybody living together. I like it. I like the fact that Canada is a country of compromise. It was formed by people sitting around a table and agreeing to get together and form a country. It wasn't formed in battle. It wasn't formed in war. It was formed in people agreeing. And it's great to go to Canada.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we did have to protect it at one time. You know that, eh?
Yeah.
Thanks for all that, Joseph.
From your friends south of you, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that, though, Joseph. We're very proud of
Yes.
of who we are, and that we do have a good reputation around the world, and we are, we're proud of who we are, as most are, and thank you. Appreciate it.
You even said that in a very modest way.
Was that? I thought it was more stumbling, but yeah.
Were you trying to brag there? I could hardly tell.
No, yeah.
Very
no, we're humble, right?
Very Canadian.
Colin, you got to finish with it. I'm sorry, Joseph.
Yes. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, for sure.
Joseph, you've been doing it for 40 years now. Just a bundle of energy and a bundle of information. But one thing I'm sort of getting from the bio and the research that we've done is that you really like to immerse yourself. You've touched on it physically, mentally, and culturally into the environment that you're traveling to. So my question is how has the travel industry changed in the last 40 years?
Well, I think it's gotten better in many ways, because what the tour companies and the people who market travel, the destinations, the tourism companies, what they've learned is that what people are after is experience, and what people are after are experiences in the country and with the people in the country. So they've developed better product for the traveler to come and experience that gives them the opportunity to do that. I mean, when you think of the old, if it's Tuesday, it must be Belgium kind of tour that used to happen before my generation started traveling, then you get a sense of that's changed. Nobody would put up with that today. Tour companies, cruise companies, they all plan educational tours for their clients where they can really have an authentic experience. Everybody talks about authenticity. Everybody talks about that. When we were speaking with the people in New Brunswick, Canada, the tourism people, I've traveled to New Brunswick so many times, and we sat down. They had us come in, and they wanted to develop a product. And so what did they do? Very smartly, they brought travel journalists in from the United States and elsewhere to talk to them about what their audiences wanted. And what they wanted was experiences. So they went through their province and they figured out all of the different kinds of experiences they could offer people with the province and with the people in the province. And that is the main way things have changed. I'm proud of my generation of kids way back then in the 60s, and who traveled with backpacks and taught the world and taught our country, particularly in the United States, taught us that there was a different way to travel. And that has caught on. We're now really old, but we're getting older and older. But we became the travelers, and the travel industry started turning in that direction. That's what's really changed.
Yeah. That's a great point, because it's true that, I mean, if you look around you, anytime you're looking around you, everyone's doing the backpacking now. Everyone's carrying a day pack. Everyone's traveling with day packs. It's a whole different type of travel attire, and maybe travel curiosity is what it's spurred.
Very good. Exactly. But, people are, I like to say that when you travel, you should augment yourself. And I don't mean get 10 pounds fatter eating French pastry, although that happens too. What I mean is you should come back larger than you are, bigger than you were. a different person in so many ways. And these days, you now have the opportunity, because the guys who put these trips together and help people travel have caught it, understood it, and are making it possible for you to have those experiences that make you bigger, that augment us as people, as personalities.
Exactly.
Traveling is such an education, like you say.
Definitely.
Totally agree there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So based on that, so with all this travel and all this brain influx of travel information that you've had over your years, Joseph, and proudly so, based on your observations, what are some of the major shifts, or do you see any sort of what do you see sort of happening in the future? Are travel habits changing? Are destination selection changing? Is the journey becoming more important than the destination? What are some of the things that you see happening?
Well, what I think you said a brilliant thing there. The journey is always the most important thing, and that, to a shameless plug, that is kind of what the book is about. The book is about talking about the journey, and the journey is what is my journey, my personal journey, my travel journey, and my life journey. It's like 3 books in one. It's a how-to travel book. It's a destination book about I feature destinations in the book, and it's a memoir. So the journey is always what has been important. It never wasn't important. Mm-hmm. And what you get from the journey is maybe different now. But that's I see in the future. It's hard. We've learned one thing from this pandemic is you can't predict the future. You can't predict tomorrow. No. We're still trying to finish season 12 of Joseph Rosendo's Travelscope. And we're doing our best to get it done. We just want them to, if they'll let us back in, we'll do our job. So that's where we are. But the journey has always been what was important to people. And when traveling with that in mind is what's going to be what people are going to be concentrating on. I think there's going to be more in-country travel in every country. They're in country, their tourists, their home tourists are going to see their own country a lot more than they have maybe in the past. There are wonderful things in everybody's country. But the tourism is going to stay local somewhat, but the desire to go out and meet other cultures is still there. Of course, in Canada, you can travel around Canada and you'll meet all sorts of different cultures, one of the most diverse countries in the world. Same here in the United States. But still, we're going to be wanting the foreign travel will always be an allure. The exotic places, Bhutan, Asia, China, the Africa, the South America, those are still going to be drawing us like magnets. So it's not going to change that much, I think, in our desire. A little bit more traveling at home, but we're still going to want to see the world. So, and I wouldn't make any bets on what's going to happen tomorrow. It's kind of difficult.
Yeah. So what would you say your best guess, Joseph, is on the future of tourism? What is your best guess of what it's going to look like? And I fully understand that we can't predict it. But if you were to look at the trends and the tips and what's happening around you in the industry and the restrictions and how the cruise is reacting and all these different factors that are playing, what's your best guess on the future?
Well, people have always got to weigh their sense of safety with their sense of adventure. They've always had to weigh that personally. I personally feel people need to travel fearlessly. That doesn't mean you travel recklessly or foolishly, but you travel without fear in your heart. You can't go out and open yourself up to other people and other experiences if you're scared to death. So make yourself as safe as you need to be, and then go out there and step forward. So there's going to be a lot of more people are going to need to be reinforced that the environment they travel in and the places they stay in are safe. So there'll have to be that bottom line, that basic necessity. But I also think that people are there is such a pent up desire to travel that when we get the okay, when there's enough people vaccinated throughout the world, when we get the okay, there's going to be an explosion of travel. We're going to see more travelers. You're going to be traveling with more people than you ever traveled with in your life.
I agree.
So I would suggest you make your reservations now. You may have to cancel them because they may not let you in. We've made 6 sets of arrangements to travel to France to scout for our next shoot in France and for our own pleasure. And we've had to cancel 5 of them. We have 1 still waiting in the wings. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't put it out there. You put it out there what you want, and it will eventually happen. And I'm telling you, we're going to be traveling in crowds because people are dying to hit the road again. And so that's my one prediction I'm pretty sure of.
Yeah. How does that affect some places that were battling with over tourism pre-COVID to how is it going to affect them post-COVID? I mean, some of our international experts and futurists and strategists, they're really worried about this first flood.
Yeah, well, I think they've got something to worry about. I think and us as travelers, how we can mitigate some of that is we need to look to new places to travel. This is what I'm talking about. And they may be at home or they may be abroad. But you need to be opening up your head, and hopefully a show like Joseph Rosendo's Travelscope, something like my book, our show streams on Amazon. So if you can't see us on PBS, you can go to Amazon and stream our shows. Hopefully people like me and like you are helping travelers make those decisions, introducing them to new places, opening up their heads on how to travel. As you know, every show, Travelscope show, closes with a quote from Mark Twain. That travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness. And we should go at that lesson that we're going to learn. We should grab that truth and travel with that in our hand. And that should motivate us to look at the places that we're now or in the past have looked at and thought, oh no, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. Those people are like that, or they're like that, or that place is like that. We need to put that aside and we need to move forward and say, travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness. And I'm not going to let any of those things keep me from having the experiences that I deserve in this life, because this may be news to some people, but we only get one of them that I know of, and we better make the most of it. And we better make the most of it, which is another theme of my book, by the way, which is that you have to carpe diem, seize the day. Every moment we let slip through our fingers is a moment we'll never gain again. And that's true with how we deal with our family, how we deal with our friends, and how we deal with the world.
Bingo.
He's a wise man, that Joseph Rosendo.
Yep. You know, another thing that we're really trying to push out here in Canuckville is low season too. We've got some really nice shoulder seasons. We seem to in Canada pack everything into June, July, and August. Yet we've got a beautiful September, beautiful October. We've got a great April, May, usually depending on where you go in Canada. And then we also have a spectacular winter tourism industry, some of the best ski hills in the world, snowmobiling, snowshoeing, ice fishing, and cross country. So I think if like you said, I believe it's a big education process as well.
Yeah. I mean, Banff Lake Louise, how about skiing there instead of skiing in? I've told people, don't ski, don't go to Aspirin, go to Banff Lake Louise. Nobody's there. It's cheaper, and you're going to have a wonderful time. And you're in this wonderful national parks. You know,
actually,
so you know, fall foliage. You want to battle the cars in New England? Why do that when you can go up New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, and where there's hardly anybody looking at those beautiful things? We did a show on the Rideau Canal from Ottawa down to south, almost to Kingston, and it was the last cruise that we could be, last time we could be on the canal and it was beautiful. Beautiful fall foliage everywhere. Absolutely spectacular. So you're right. Shoulder season has always been a good tip. Always been a good tip as a travel writer. We always said, travel, go shoulder season, go shoulder season, go shoulder season.
I think
it's cheaper and it is less people and you'll have a great time.
Yep. Shoulder seasons rock. I think one of the things, and like you said, with the Rideau Canal, I was looking at some of your some of your clips and some of your information on all your social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I saw you there. You were right in our backyard where we're here in Maple Leaf, Canada, in our base camp. You were right in the caribou, and you did some canoeing, I believe it was. I saw an episode. You hung out with some beluga whales. That's pretty cool in Manitoba. And you sat at the same table I sat at and had a high tea in the Canadian Rockies near Lake Louise. So it's pretty impressive. So my question, Joseph, is this: you've traveled to, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's 50 countries or more with your Travelscope TV series. We sort of touched on it, but what makes Canada unique than all the rest? What, in your view, being in so many countries, what is Canada? What makes our draw so unique?
Well, I mean, I have to come back to what I go to all the time. People. It's always people, and Canadians are very special kind of people. Your brother just showed us in his modesty to try to could hardly brag about Canada because so modest, so generous, and so gracious.
Yeah, I'm the special one, bro.
We've always been treated graciously in Canada. So that's one of the things. That's one of the things. One of the main things. The main thing for me, wherever I travel, but also the diversity in Canada. It's a wide open country, all kinds of cultures that you're going to meet. You go to Toronto. How many cultures are in Toronto? We did a show on the neighborhoods of Toronto. Of course, we didn't get them all in there. I mean, all kinds of different cultures, all people from all over the world in Canada in one spot. And, it's just so that diversity of cultures is amazing. Then the diversity of scenery and things to do. And, of course, all of us down here in the lower 48, there are a lot of people who think that Canada is one big iceberg. But that's the good news in winter, but it is not. And there's just so much diversity in what you see. Like I was mentioning earlier, Ontario alone is larger than stretches as the whole boundaries of Europe. So imagine all those countries in only one province in Canada. So that's what makes Canada unique to me. And in our 20 shows that we've done, our 20 television shows, not to mention the radio shows I did, we've covered a lot of those. Your First Nations people, the relationship, the way that Canada has finally accepted and featured the First Nations culture.
Yes.
What a treasure that is. And it's seen them for what they are is a treasure.
Yep.
The people like the Acadians, the French culture, the Quebecois, the French culture. What a treasure that is. Not that the English culture isn't, but for those of us from the lower 48 coming up and be able to go to France and not even cross the pond to I was talking to you before we started the show tonight about the Acadians in New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. One of the great festivals in the world that I've been to is the Acadian Festival that takes place to celebrate the Acadia Day on August the 15th and is in Caracat, takes place, it's centered in Caracat, New Brunswick. If you don't go to the Acadian Festival in New Brunswick, you are missing a time of your life. Nobody knows how to party better than Acadians, except for maybe Newfoundlanders. But I'm telling you that I've never had a more wonderful time there. Music, food, come on, it's a French culture. You get great food, you get you have the joie de vivre of the French culture with a Canadian warmth added to it. You can't beat it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think did that tell you what Canada's a little special to me?
Yes.
We're close to your heart, it sounds like, Joseph.
It is.
So I think another thing too is just a touch on too is 90% of our population is within 200 kilometers of the U.S.-Canadian border.
Exactly.
That's a lot of Canada above that. That's beautiful, natural, wild, free-roaming wildlife, adventure tourism galore. I mean, I think we have the best four-season adventure tourism in the world because we have such a massive playground.
Absolutely. Heli-skiing, kayaking, fishing,
Yep.
Dog sledding, like you mentioned. I mean, I went to the Yukon. I spent time in the Yukon when I did my radio show. And if you want to be to a place, like Service said, that great big land out yonder,
Yep.
where silence has lease. I mean, Robert Service, the poet, the Yukon poet, can't be said better. I mean, when you sit up there in a fish camp in the Yukon and you can hear the blood pulsating in your ear because there's nothing else to hear.
Yeah.
It's absolutely totally quiet, except for the birds, of course, but absolutely totally quiet.
Yeah.
A space like that, we have somehow, I think, in the world forgotten that there is space like that. We have great big wide open spaces down here in the United States, wonderful places, but nothing quite like that. So yeah, there's a great big space up above that 200 miles that people need to experience as well. I went in one of our shows, we went up to up on the Hudson Bay to the Mo-Crebec people up there, and had a First Nation experience and a wilderness experience at the same time.
Heaven,
Nice.
that's just music to our ears, Junior?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And what always amazes me is the skies up there too. Like you don't have any of the light pollution. I mean, you haven't seen a sky in the Milky Way until you've been, a little north and get away from all the cities and stuff. It's just amazing.
Yeah, Norway is famous for its northern lights, but hey, it ain't got nothing on Canada. I was up there in Manitoba with the polar bears in Churchill.
Yes.
I saw some amazing northern lights.
Yeah.
And when we were in with the Mo-Crebec, it was wonderful, beautiful northern lights. And the people there just go, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Any chance you've seen a narwhal?
I didn't.
That's something that's definitely on my. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to. Certainly would love to.
Definitely on my bucket list.
But the polar bears were kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so, amazing.
Are you guys done now? Can we get back to the show?
We're bonding, bro.
Are you guys bonding? Yeah. I want to be part of the show.
We're gonna push you off the screen soon, and
yeah, exactly.
Unplug
I love it. The third brother. The third brother.
Yeah. So I'm gonna jump a bit here to this particular. We touched on it a bit. You've got your Mark Twain quote. And I'm really interested in the backstory to this one. Again, I'll just reiterate it. Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness. And you also, and I got this out of your book, is your favorite writing shirt has this quote on it.
Right.
Is that still kicking around? And maybe you can give us a little bit.
It's a souvenir. It's got big holes in it.
Yeah.
It was like I think that shirt is from 1985 when I started the radio show. Yes, I can't wear it anymore, but I got it. I've kept it.
Nice.
It reminds me of what that is about, and what that is about is that we should travel. Like I was saying earlier, to augment yourself and be greater and better. Yeah. And what better way to travel than without prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-minded? And there's another part to that quote where Mark Twain says, and it is something that is sorely needed. He's talking to Americans at that time, sorely needed in our country right now. And no one develops the milk of human kindness or brotherhood by staying in one little corner of the planet. You have to get out there and expand yourself so you can expand your heart. You don't want to be the Grinch. Remember, even the Grinch's heart grew. So you want the way our hearts grow is by experience.
Yeah, that's very good. That's very good. It's a very, very interesting quote, and it has so much backstory and meaning to it. I find I thought it was it really sticks out, and you refer to it a lot. Every show, your book, all over, right?
Well, it became on the radio show. I started it once. I started at the end of the radio show once, and my engineer, good old engineers, are very helpful. Besides getting your show on the air, guys with the codes, and he said, you use a lot of different quotes at the end of your show, because I was using a lot of different travel shows. He said, this one is the killer. You should use it every time.
Yeah.
And for 23 years I did, and for Travelscope for the last 12 seasons I've used it on every show. And it's amazing if people respond to it.
Yeah.
My audience, I get response, I get letters, I get phone calls. People say, that quote just spoke to me. It says so much to me. And that's exciting to me to know that our show, it reaches people in a way and touches them. And that's really also reinforcing to me. The thing that has touched people about all of our shows has been the way we are with people and the way people have been with us. And that is so encouraging at a time, particularly in our country, when we're so divisive and everybody is at each other's throats seemingly. It's so encouraging to know that people at heart are really all connected and are really all brothers, just like you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So then comes along, you do the Travelscope show for 12 seasons successfully. You have won you've won multiple Emmy awards. You've won a whole bunch of awards. And then all of a sudden COVID hit and you said, I'm going to write a book. And here it is. This is the book we've been talking about. It's called Musings, the Short, Happy Pursuit of Pleasure and Other Journeys. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's like I'm traveling with you when I read this. It's like I'm right there when you're packing the luggage and I go, Joe, no, don't put that lens in there. Joe, no, not that. No, not those shoes, Joe. It's like I'm right there. So
And
why
he does talk to himself when he reads. So, I mean,
I do. I had a conversation with a few times in the book. Joe, that's just silly. That's just and then I'm going, this is great. So why a book, Joe? What was the motivation?
Well, and by the way, I have to say I won the Globe and Mail Award, Canada Tourism Award as well. So
wow.
that's how much I love Canada. Anyway, the motivation was, it was a dream I'd had really for a long, long time, but I never had time to, I knew these stories that I'd written over the years for my musings column were something I wanted to share with people. And also that it said a lot, it gave me an opportunity to share myself personally. And that's kind of what Travelscope's about. That's kind of what I'm about. And I hope your audience is picking a little bit of that up. That is sharing who we are is important to me. And so I knew this was something I wanted to get together, but I never had the time to do it, tell you the truth. Then the pandemic hit and I had a lot of time. And I said, well, if not now, never. And it started out as I'll just put the stories together and that'll be it. Then it became, I've got to write new introductions to all these stories. And wait a minute, there are a couple of stories that have been riding around in my head that I need to write and add to this group. And then, I should have some photos in there, particularly the ones from my distant past as a kid, since I really had the travel bug as a kid and I didn't know it, but it obviously came to the fore once it was tapped into. So then it just grew kind of like rice. It got bigger and bigger and took up all of my time and took up most of the pandemic. But finally it got out and there's a great sense of relief and accomplishment. I'm glad that through this horrible time, which has been horrible for so many people, that something good was for me personally was able to come out of it. And hopefully in the spirit of sharing, in the spirit of education, the spirit of entertaining, because I hope it's entertaining as well, that I was able to contribute something at this time. And so, that was how it came about.
Yep. Okay. Is there going to be a follow-up?
God knows, maybe. I just need to live many, many more years. It did spark some ideas of other stories that need to be in the book. So who knows? I need to just spend some concentrated time again, sitting down and doing that. Hopefully I'll be back on the road again and working and finishing season 12 and experiencing the world and not sitting behind a computer. But you never know. Let me put it that way. Maybe.
Excellent. France, here we come.
Yeah, France, here we come.
I love that grew like rice. That's a great quote.
Yeah. So what if for people like myself who are enjoying and reading your book there, Joseph, what are when you were writing this, what are the sort of the takeaways? And so you sort of touched that. What are sort of the takeaways are you hoping that we are getting when we're reading your book?
Well, hopefully the different stories hopefully have something to teach, or at least you get to hear me preach. I don't know. But, like one story, El Dorado, is about the fear of missing out and how that can screw up your own experience. And hopefully, humorously, you read along and you travel with me as I go crazier and crazier and crazier in search of El Dorado, that golden place that's just over there somewhere. When right here, it's absolutely totally pure gold, but you're always looking over there. So hopefully there's a lesson in all of it. In each of the stories teach something or pass some time for people. But I think generally the basic giveaway is what I said earlier. Carpe diem, seize the day. One of the stories, the title is "Do It Now." Don't wait. Don't put off to tomorrow what you can do today, and don't forget. Tell everybody you love them. Treat everybody as kindly as you can, and do everything you can do as long as you can do it, and never say never, and never say that it can't be done. Just go out there and try to do it. So I guess at the end of the story, the last story in the book, it's a story that's a takeoff of a play called Our Town by Thornton Wilder, and in it, a woman comes back. She's at her gravesite, and she gets the opportunity to go back to one day in her life, and she goes back to her 13th birthday and realizes how much time people waste, how much time they waste not loving each other. And so the story ends with the character who is telling this story to someone else, lying in bed, and in the character in the play coming to him and looking over him and saying, is it true? Does it, because the godlike figure in the play says, is asked, do people ever really appreciate every moment of their life? And he says, well, poets do a little. That's it. And so they're looking at the fellow in bed and they say, does he really think that he can be someone who can really appreciate every moment of his life?
Yep.
And the godlike figure says, it's a dream.
Wow.
So I think that's the end of the book is, that should be all of our dream.
Yeah.
Well, I love you, Joseph. You're a hell of a man.
Thank you so much. You guys are too.
Excellent.
But anyway, I think that if there's a takeaway, it's that. It's a dream. It's a dream we all should all pursue.
And so you have France. You have the book first. Now it's France. So with all and getting back into your show and getting into the groove of things. So if we took those out of the picture, is there anything that you've got planned for the future that is special that you've got ideas about?
Now I'd like to do more of what I've been doing, and to get more of you involved in it. I mean, that's why I was saying earlier that our show, streams on Amazon. So if you can't get the PBS station and you can't watch us on PBS or your public station, you can certainly stream us on Amazon. I think there really is. I'd like to do more of what I've been doing, and I'd like to have all you guys come along with me, and all your viewers and all of your audiences join me on all of these adventures. I think that's it. I mean, now I have that's enough surprise for me, to tell you the truth. Because every day when you're on the road and every day when you're doing what I do, and I'm so blessed to have had the opportunity to do it.
Yes.
That's all you want to do is to do more of it.
Yeah, we definitely know that feeling. I mean, when we're on the road, every day is new. Every day is different. Every day is special.
And I've always traveled with the people I love, and that's why having your audiences join me is something that I really would love.
Yeah.
I can tell I can tell personally for Junior and I, we're definitely getting travelized tonight.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's the word. Tonight's word, travel.
That's it. So if this is the case and you were, and we, again, we sort of touched it, but before we let you go, and maybe you want, is there anything out there, anything you'd like to talk about, anything we've missed, that you would like to share with our audience, Joseph?
Oh, well, they're calling in.
It's a phone-in call.
It's a call-in show. It's a call-in show.
Yeah,
go ahead, flashback.
Yeah, well, I would. There really isn't nothing that I would say. We just got a call from Montreal, actually. Maybe one of your listeners. My wife's we're gonna call him back, and
Nice.
yeah, I would just say that there's really nothing that I think I missed. Sweetie, you want to say something? She's off the air, but I would say that I think doing more of what we're doing and have people. What I would really wish for us is to lower our level of fear, and that's what I would say. And and anything that we can do to help people reduce their level of fear, fear of their neighbor, fear of the guy across the street and across the world, then that would be something we devoutly wished for the world, is to lower our level of fear and to take advantage of this wonderful thing called life, gift of life that we've all been given. And I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to come on tonight. You guys have got a great thing going, the Brothers of Tourism. Count me as an honorary brother, I hope. And,
you're in.
You guys are, just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on, and I want to thank your audience and your viewers for listening to you and urging them to continue to do so and to tuning in us all tonight.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Joseph, for the very kind words. We have you to look up to, and we have yourself to thank for blazing the trail. I mean, really, it's for travel shows. I mean, you've been a big trailblazer in leading the way on that. If we can even come close to your success, I think we'd be very happy with that lifestyle and be very ecstatic with the career path. So again, Joseph, thank you from myself. Thank you from Junior. We hope to have you back on the show sometime later, and we'll keep in touch by all means.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Till next time.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Till next time.
So, wow. Junior,
that hour felt like 5 minutes.
I know, isn't it? It's so cool when you got a great guest. Yeah. And you're just like you're dropping on every word, and it's like you're looking at the clock and you're going, oh my God, that's it, eh?
Yeah. And he loves to talk. I mean,
I know. We gotta figure out how to have Joseph back on the show down the road, and we can have sort of follow up on how as COVID sort of rolls out and tourism rolls out. And man, if he comes up to Canada, if he wants to get travelized back, he better give us a shout.
Let's say we got to figure out how to get him up here.
How are we going to travelize?
Get him back to Canada.
Yeah.
Travelize him.
Well, we know. Hey, what we'll do is we'll just leave a little thing and say, here's the wine route. We'll tell him this is a new wine route and a bannock route and a poutine route and a screech route.
Follow this. Experience Canada. We can put it all in one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. I love getting travelized. I do. It's so awesome. I'm so pumped. So pumped.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's so true about, just opening up our minds and not being scared of things in your neighbor. And
I think when we do our bit, there's going to be a lot of, including ourselves, a whole bunch of us that are going to be Joseph Rosendo fans and followers. I suggest everyone, as we've been putting up Joseph's website, we've also been flashing across the screen his Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Now, if you're like me, I went and followed them all because I want to. I'm going to live through Joseph for a while when he's on his way. And I suggest all of you viewers today and down the road, once we put this together and we fly it off into the social media hemisphere, make sure that you give him a look on his Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And as he said, if you don't get PBS, you can get it on Amazon and get live streaming. And I
Yes.
hope I got that right, Joseph. I made a note, so I hope that's right. So thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight for our live gig with us and Joseph.
Live gig.
For the others who will see this recorded version down the road, come and join us every Tuesday, 7 p.m. PST for the live show on our ehCanada Travel Facebook and YouTube page at 7 p.m. PST. We are the Cobro host of the Travel Talk Show. I'm Greg. That's Junior Colin, the Brothers of Tourism, the Cobro founders of ehCanadaTravel.com, and the brains and brawn behind the ehCanada Marketing Group. Tomorrow, you will find this fantastic interview with Joseph Rosendo on our live travel community feed on our award-winning ehCanadaTravel.com website. We have a live feed. Click social community at the top and you will see our live feed. And that's a social community where people can contribute your Canada adventures, tips, techniques, lifestyles, and all so forth. And you will also see this on our Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, LinkedIn, and we throw it up on a couple Reddit feeds just for good measure, because that's just what we do here at ehCanada. So we'll see you next week. Same time, same place, same brothers, 7 p.m. PST.
Same brothers, same brothers.
7 p.m. PST right here on the ehCanada Travel Facebook and YouTube pages. And remember, plan smarter, book better, stay longer. Plan your travels with ehCanadaTravel.com. Better yet, watch our website and social media. And for when you join us on Canadian Adventure Seeker, be one, come one, become one, an adventure seeker here. It's one of the coolest clubs in Canada. Peace out, can't be safe. Okay, Junior, dazzle them with your commentary.
I was gonna say, go out and buy his book. Obviously, it's well, not obviously, but it sounds like a great read, and it's something every traveler should pick up and learn a few tips about how to travel right. So next week, I'm sure you'll all join us here. We have Rolf Hicker. He's an award-winning photographer and filmmaker from yours truly, Vancouver Island, which is where me and the bro grew up. He's worked with companies. He's huge. He's worked with Porsche, BMW, National Geographic, Reader's Digest. The list goes on. So be here 7 o'clock p.m. next week. Call it out.